Thank you all and welcome back to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. This is Manny here. This might also be on Trust All Truth, so go to trustalltruth.com. I've been having a few videos there. I'm doing a series and we're going to introduce deception today. It's a little bit, symbolic again. I'm dressed in traditional camouflage, not any armies or, uniform of camouflage, but it's just camouflage. And this is speaking on deception, and really the most current form of deception is with potential truths or potential falsities, unknowns. So what is theorized and hypothesized versus what is observed, performed, and created. And today, this is a very important thing to discuss and understand, because the wires are being crossed. It's being crossed intentionally from after the original source. Someone has intentionally crossed the wires. Thereafter, the retelling of this information is unintentional misguidance, because the person with the original source of truth had skewed it from everyone else knowing, verbatim or exactly what happened. So there's a lot of things that we are now starting to uncover with new technologies available, and there's a lot of new ways that we're going to be able to be deceived. And the number one, I've already stated, is that perception, the truth of perception, and things that are non-witnessed actions and the truth behind them. This is especially presented with religion, where most war is fought because of a particular religious stance that a people hold, that they believe is somehow being violated in one way or another by another class of people. And this is incredible contradiction to their religious texts themselves, which would make you weary against these type of actions, usually against violent action towards the unknowing. Or because there's a difference between a willful ignorance or blissful ignorance. Willful or blissful. A lot of people don't care anymore about the people that are blissfully ignorant, and they lump them in with the willful ignorant. And they've been it's especially telling within religion, right? So, is there a God? Did these people exist? Did these events happen? And they're trusting these archaeological, discoveries and researches about things, and they're trusting and relying so heavy on science. Or the opposite, you see these texts and you hear the translations from pastors, bishops, popes, shaman. That might have been off, maybe not a shaman, but rabbis and leaders of these churches and these congregations, and you usually hear their translation of it, and that's the understanding of the text that you have. So that's the text you take as fact, and you use that to argue against science within its some science that is set, that is observable. Faith and science clashing, that is an intentional distraction that is being exacerbated in the common day. And this is something we need to be readily aware of, because this is something very important that is going to be used as a manipulation tactic coming very, very, very soon. And deception and these things, they're going to the people within the church think they're so protected that they think they know how to identify, and some people, I would say, some people think they're so protected that they know how to identify evil, when they don't understand that certain rituals that they participate in, certain customs they participate in, contribute to evil works, and all in the name of a God. If you're considering God that don't want to cause harm to people after a certain point, right, then you're causing harm to people blissfully. You don't know you are, but the actions that you participate in, the rituals, these customs, these traditions that you participate in, whether or not they have been implemented by culture that has influenced religion itself, you think you're doing something for a God, in the name of God. All the while you're doing something in direct competition to good, and you're creating evil, which is hurting people, hurting innocent people. The most innocent are all children. Then we've got the other side of those that are purely reliant on science, which includes the things that are observable, which I agree with wholeheartedly, but also with theories and the strong theories that have been come up with, the perpetuated theory, these tests that people have come up with to determine certain time frames, and like especially in archaeology. I can't say it enough. Carbon dating. You are detecting the age of the earth with carbon dating, and you're able to quantify the amount of time. You're able to quantify. There's an animal over here. I don't know what type of animal it is though. I think it's a lizard. You're able to quantify the amount of time that the earth has existed before humans existed. So you're making a record of something, an afterfact. You're making a record in the afterfact of something that there was no witness to, no intelligent witness to. And I find that very concerning. Of course, it's helpful for certain tools that are used to determine depths of certain stuff, but in terms of aging something and then using this age to substantiate these claims about the universe that are then going out to people, and it's still named a theory, right? In the science world, the intelligent people that aren't blocking these, that aren't, the intelligent people that are researching this data understand that this is all, arbitrary. It's theory. It's a method that they're using to describe something, to define something and calculate something that they know where they have witness of its existence. And that is all perfectly fine. And I'm all for that, I swear. I don't know what it is. I think I stepped on it. It's not a good thing to rely on either wholly, entirely. And what we see is a very stark divide between science and religion. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Well, I don't really hate to say it. It's just what's obvious. It's what's the truth. Religion is more nonsensical, has become more nonsensical, is more nonsensical than most science. Religion hurts more people than science does. Science, and that's the thing about science, not all science is theory. Science is physics, understanding of the physical world, an understanding of, no, we've got to really be aware of these tactics that are being used as specifically, they're being entered into the medias that people are most readily using as divisive tactics. So whichever one you're more leaning towards, you're eventually going to have to pick a side. There's not going to be a lot of room in the future for ambiguity amongst what you believe, about what you believe is true. There's going to be a lot of black and whites. As much color as they're trying to involve right now with the social issues, there's going to be a lot of black and whites, and they're going to have an incredible propaganda, fair. You're going to see slander like never before. You're going to see certain seemingly evident. You're going to see certain denials of things that are true because of the technologies that we are going to have coming up very soon. The digital age is this coming up age is going to be very, very telling of how, if you don't have a strong mind, you're going to break. You're going to be broken very soon, because you will no longer be able to trust your own instincts. You will no longer, you won't be able to trust your eyes, really. You won't be able to trust anything that you see. You won't be able to trust anything that you hear. And if we don't right now, when it's currently not as much of an issue, and we actually have verifiable sources, but we're not using them, and people are intentionally smearing people and lying on people where there's obvious, where there's evident and there is witnessable proof that you are either correct or wrong about something. If we don't utilize the tools that are still available right now, and the act of discernment and the way that we can investigate things the way they are right now, and they have been for past, but have been, you've been warded against these things in favor of having a convenient answer that supported your, either political stance or social stance or financial stance, in terms of, wealth. Everyone is at risk, because coming up very soon, we will not be able to trust, we will not be able to put trust into what we see here or think about what we see here, because all those things will be able to be manipulated and become undetectable. And the same, the people that are going to be very interested in this are the people that want to deceive you. And who's doing that right now? Understand who that is. I've been telling you throughout these videos, this is my helpful tool to put out there. Trust all truth, breathing is highly dangerous. Helpful tools to be ahead of the curve, so you do not have to prepare so much. Be prepared. So when that day comes, and it's very, very soon, and this, I don't know if anyone, don't take heed to it or take heed to it, but understand that this is not a warning, it's a promise. I mean, this is a warning with because of a promise. If you don't take the necessary steps now to understand yourself and understand your reality, current reality, where you still have a reasonable amount of control of how you procure information and where that's coming from, and identifying sources and intentions. Currently, if you don't understand how that works right now, then you will be much more behind when it comes to being able to tell what is real and what is fake for the future, with these technological advances that are going to be helpful to certain degrees, but also harmful. Because everything right now, all the technology you have right now could have saved the world, but because there are particular people that are more interested in exploiting people and have leverage against them, and promoting themselves to a position above others. This is why the world is what it is. It's because of selfishness and self-interest, jealousy and greed. And if we're falling into the trap they set for us, and we see the only ways to be successful, the only successful people we see are the people with those characteristics, then the only way to be successful is to become such as that. And right now, there's an option. Right now, the option is still readily available and easier to access. That third option of being able to be successful outside of being a slave or being a master of a slave. Do you want to be a savior, or do you want to be a victim or a victimizer? That'll be it for this video. Be blessed, stay blessed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.